Hi everybody, I do hope you're healthy and doing marvelously well. We have a fun plugin to try out by a company called AIX DSP. They have designed a multi-band gate, which is going to be particularly useful for those of us that record live drums, especially on things like toms. Quite often, as you know, drummers will have their cymbals really, really low to their toms, and they may go around and play a cymbal, then a tom. So the cymbal can bleed into it, not to mention all of the other instruments, other toms, kick drums, snare, cymbals, hi-hats, and everything that can bleed into those tom mics. And this particular tool, the Multiband Gate, I have heard that it can solve all of those problems. So I'm very excited to try it out. So before we get started, thank you ever so much, AIX DSP, for sending this plugin to try out and also letting us give 3 copies of this away, which you can enter to win down below. Just click on the link to enter to win. So here I have a track that many of you may have already downloaded. It's a band called Robert John and the Wreck, and the song's called Good Loving. As you can see, when I mixed this, I had all kinds of things going on. A tom trick, which is me gaining down in between every single hit here. I'd laid in samples down here as well. Done all kinds of fun things. But here is the live original tom track. The drummer's great, but he does tend to play things like snares and toms lightly. So what happens is he goes around the kit, he may hit a cymbal, then a tom. And without the articulation, there's a lot of cymbal bleed. So let's play this piece of the track. So a decent amount of cymbal bleed, lots of hits in between. The cymbal bleed, I think, bothers me a lot. Here is the plugin. Let's just see what it's going to do immediately with some basic adjustment made. I'll take the low crossover. At the moment, it's at 248. I just want to get it maybe about 150-ish. Set the threshold a little higher, so it'll let all of that low end go through. Then I've got the multi-band here, and I've got the hold down quite a lot, the release up relatively high, and the attack set super aggressively. Now this is a look ahead at 0.5 of a millisecond. What is great about this look ahead function is that the gate will open and shut before it's actually been played because it's looking ahead. I have some hardware pieces of equipment which actually have a delay line built into it. Delays the signal ever so slightly. For radio broadcast, they were for compression. So what would happen is there would be no transient coming through. So that's why look aheads would work in compressors. But for this, it means that we can have a pure transient and be able to control the attack on it really beautifully. So I've got the low end here set to 150. The high band is set pretty aggressively because it's brought down here. So that hopefully will grab it pretty early for those cymbals. Now you heard cymbals bleeding into the toms. So let's see if it gets rid of that. And then the mid-range is set, the hold is down quite low, so it won't grab it and hold onto it too long. I'm going to do a quick before as a reminder. You get the idea. Just take it out of bypass and give it a listen. That's pretty amazing. I really didn't tweak it very much. So I think, for instance, let's just play this little section here in bypass. So you can hear the cymbal bleed on the tom. Let's bring up the highs. So you see there, you hear the cymbal bleeding. Bring it down. So good. So there's loads and loads of great controls. So I want to feature this hysteresis control down here. If I bring that on, it allows me to adjust when the gate closes. So let's have a mess with it. And it's a great visual representation. There you heard it just decay and the gate closed in the middle of some of the bleed. Bring it up. Grab this threshold. Too much, bring it down. Bring the hysteresis down. Nice. It's really good. Really, really fantastic. I love the fact that I can control the release here. So I've got the release set pretty aggressively. If we solo the low section, give it a listen. See, I adjusted the release ever so slightly back in solo and I was able to remove the low end that was being triggered by the next drum that was bleeding into it. Here's where it was. Hear that boom, but, bring it back. Gone. A little bit too aggressive for me, so I'm going to split the difference. Tiny bit. But in the mix, that's fantastic. Really, really good tool. There you go. So it's a tiny bit of bleed, but nothing compared with this in bypass. Incredibly different. Let's bring it up onto the other rack. So now here's the other rack, which had been muted because it was unusable and we were only using samples on rack 2. So let's see how that sounds. So here's rack 2 with no multiband gate on it. Tons and tons. It was like so open sounding, all that ring. And we just ended up putting a live sample of itself against it. Now I'm going to start from scratch. What we'll do is we'll open up the multiband. So we set our threshold here. Hysteresis. Bring that down. Closes a little later. I love the fact I can bring the attack back like this. If there's no cymbal bleed in it, it's just a great way to just EQ the attack back in. massive over-the-top, low-endy drum sound there, but wow. So as you can tell, it's a pretty easy to use tool. It comes up sounding really good, really quickly within a few seconds. I don't think you're gonna have any problem using this or loving it. I love how simple it is. They seem to have started off with parameters that work, which is always a good thing. I'm sure we could figure out how to build all of the components that are inside of this and put them together, but it would take a lot of time. And they've figured out how to put everything in one plugin and make it work. And there's a couple of people I've talked to, professional mixers and friends of mine, other musicians, producers, engineers, that all love this. It's a really fantastic plugin. And also what is wonderful about it is they've very kindly given us 3 copies to give away for free. So you know what to do. You can enter down here. Now, remember, we are GDPR compliant, which means we follow the rules all over the world. Obviously, that's a European thing, but it's good for everybody, meaning you can enter just to win this and you don't have to be signed up for an email list, or you can sign up for the email list and get a whole bunch of free goodies and get notifications of other competitions and videos and free stuff. As you know, in the last couple of weeks, we've been giving a lot of stuff away for free, and we try our darndest to give away a lot of things for free, whether it be cheat sheets, multi-tracks, videos, drum samples, you name it. It's really important that we look after each other. With so many people at home at the moment, it's just really, really important that we give away a lot of free stuff, competitions, all kinds of fun stuff. It's really what we're all about. We're all about helping each other and collaborating and just having a great sense of community. So as ever, please leave a bunch of comments and questions below. Click on the link to enter to win. If you just put in your email address, you will be notified if you have won. All the winners are notified in advance. There is a page with all the winners are on. There's a link somewhere around there you can click on. If you do win, please take a photograph, with you using the plugin, and we'll publish it on our Facebook page. It's always great to publish the winners. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing. Thank you ever so much, AIX DSP, for sending this Multiband Gate. I really appreciate it. It's great to try it out. We are definitely going to use it because it will save us a lot of time and energy. Have a marvelous time recording and mixing. I'll see you all again very, very soon.